Good evening, my friends. It is absolutely my pleasure to be here with you. My name is Randy Schrader. I, I wish so much that I could welcome you to our home. I would like to have, yes, I would like to have a conversation with you. That's my wife asking if I'm recording, and yes, I am. And so I wish that you're here with us right now. I would love to look you in the eye, shake your hand, and help you understand with clarity what exactly we have before us. We're here to talk about a company called LEV AI. That stands for Leveraging Artificial Intelligence. And I look at such complete fascination because this brings to mind an experience that I had a number of years ago. Gosh, back in the early 80s, that's how long ago. And I remember when I saw the very first K Pro computer sitting on someone's desk. His name was Andy K, the founder of the company. He believed that his company was going to become Apple. Of course, it did not. Stephen Jobs' company became Apple. At that same time, I saw my first Macintosh. And when I saw those computers that day, I had no frame of reference. I had no fleeting thought that ultimately someday, one day, instead of that being a unique thing, seeing a computer on a person's desk, that it would be a very unique thing to meet a person who did not have a computer. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you suppose that any of us really chose whether or not we were going to get into the computerized world and society? Or did, in fact, society mandate that we get into the computerized world or be left behind? You know the answer. We were forced to adopt. We may not have felt it at that time, but that's what happened. If we didn't embrace computerization, we simply could no longer function effectively, competitively in society. And I think back on that day. I had two choices then, though I wasn't cognizant of them. The choices were I could use the technology, that choice would be thrust upon me, or I could become a conduit to someone else's use. I could become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur. The widespread adoption of computerized technology. I could become a catalyst in other people's use and have a complete total financial breakthrough. Well, I just took the first route. I used the technology. A couple of years later, a very similar experience. What was that? The internet. I remember the very first time I had an old 128 dial up modem, and I remember that funky sound of the fax machine and then sitting waiting for a website to load. Little did I know that the time would come when the entire world would be utilizing the internet. And then, in fact, anyone who did not embrace might as well be living as a hermit in a cave somewhere. See, widespread adoption was going to occur. The question is, did I recognize the folly of my past experience? Did I become a catalyst in other people's use? Or did I just use it myself? I wish to tell you I was a faster learner. I just used it myself. What was the difference? Well, boy, there were pretty big differences. Think of the big networking companies. Fortunes were made. Think of Bill Gates. Think of Stephen Jobs. That's the difference in becoming a conduit to other people's use or in simply using the technology yourself. Well, welcome to the possibility to leverage artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the next iteration of what we just described. The fact is that none of us have a choice. We will be required to adopt artificial intelligence. Myself, I've learned my lesson. I won't just use. This time I'll be a conduit to other people's use of artificial intelligence. That, in fact, is why you're invited here this evening. And I invite you to join me in that process. You tell me what your thoughts are about 25 minutes from now. I think your eyes will be opened. I hope that your heart is opened as well to what the possibilities are. The future is, in fact, in your hands. Says the future in your hands. I've been reading that. The future is in your hands. The future in your hands. That's Lev AI. Accessible artificial intelligence, not the convoluted, confusing hodgepodge of applications that are currently in the marketplace. No, a one-stop shop. Before we go further, I'm an entrepreneur, have been my entire life, and I have recognized that in order to have the kind of financial outcomes that I want and that perhaps you seek, one must, in fact, create a foundation upon which other people build. Earlier in my life, I was counseled, Randy, catch a wave. The person giving me that guidance was well intended, but wrong. If we catch a wave created by someone else, we can earn income. If we create the wave that others catch, we can then build a fortune. Don't just catch a wave, create a wave. Don't build upon a foundation created by someone else. Create a foundation that other people build upon. That's the possibility that's before us right hand, the future in our hands right now with accessible AI. Now, because I have sought to always be early in the development of the business, to create the wave, to build the foundation, there are risks associated with being first. In fact, the further any company idea, project, technology inches away from the point of first introduction, the further it moves away from that point of introduction, the more opportunity is behind instead of in front. That value has already been harvested by someone else. So that has drawn me to get closer and closer and closer to the point of origin and find a way to mitigate the risks that are associated with being so early in the development of the business. But we found a way to mitigate those risks. We at Live AI are a portfolio company of Terry LaCour. Terry is a well-known, I would say, he's masterful in his command of multiple forms of business, has built an empire, and now we operate under the imprimatur in the ecosystem of Terry LaCour. And that means that we don't suffer the risks that are typically a part and parcel of being literally at the genesis point at the bottom left-hand corner of the graph. Welcome to Leverage AI, to Live AI. This is a project that can dramatically change your life, my life, and everyone that we introduce it to. Now, I've been counseled by friends. They said, Randy, only say the things that must be said. Be concise. And so now I'll say only what must be said. I've waxed eloquent to a degree about my son Blake in prior sessions because I'm proud of the fact that my son has been appointed as president of this company. I, of course, could not make that appointment. I could not make the hire. Only Mr. Core could do that. Let me say that Blake is an attorney, that he grew up in the home of a serial entrepreneur. He knows what the sacrifices are, what the risks are, and understands the need to preserve long-term income streams for those who make that success possible. Blake has lived in various corners of the world, has grown very, very large direct selling businesses and conventional businesses, has been the CEO of publicly traded companies, has grown businesses to an excess of $800 million in annual sales, and I would say is widely respected and admired by literally everyone who knows him. Blake was recently named the president of this company. So operating under the imprimatur of Terry LaCour and operating under the direct day-to-day guidance of Blake, we then have an opportunity to do something truly remarkable. And what makes the possibility so remarkable? When I started talking about artificial intelligence, to my great surprise, everyone else, it seems, was already talking about it. They just weren't talking to me. When I started talking, then I found out really soon. If you're riding on a bus, people are talking about AI. If you're riding in the coach cabin of an airliner, people are talking about AI. They're also talking about it in the first class cabin. And then I found out they were also talking about it in the private jets and in boardrooms. Here from Sundar Pichai, one of the most influential men in the world of business and technology, the CEO of Google, recently stated, AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. Wow, that deserves being repeated. AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. What does that interpret to? What does that translate into? It means look over your shoulder, look back behind, and realize that your greatest success and mine, our greatest successes, were made possible by then existent technology, by then existent circumstances. AI, according to Mr. Pichai, is more profound than whatever made possible our prior successes. Our success in the future can be multitudes more. Why? Because AI is more profound than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past. And here, the deepest mind of deep mind. And I smile a lot whenever I go through this conversation because it is so fascinating to me, so empowering, so encouraging. Here is the head of deep mind, the deepest mind of them all, Denise Hassabis, stating the difference here with AI is that it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution. Think about that for a moment. My gosh, that's almost crazy to think of. The difference here with AI is it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and maybe 10 times faster. That demands that we look, yes, with a discerning eye, but having identified what we're looking for, if we do, then we should act quickly because literally, like sands through the hourglass, there go the days of our lives. And like sands through the hourglass, there go the days where you, where I, where we have the opportunity to provoke the utilization of artificial intelligence among a group of people who will one day adopt anyway. See, that's the key. Don't cause things to occur. Identify things that are destined to occur and then be a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur more quickly. That demands rapid attention. It really does. AI should not be feared. It should be harnessed. It should be leveraged to your betterment. Here it states that 61% of marketers use AI already, professional marketers. Well, a tiny segment of society are professional marketers, but right now 61% of them use at least some little part of the mix match out there that is AI right now. What do you suppose, what percentage of professional marketers use computers? 100%. What percentage of professional marketers use the internet? 100%. That's the same percentage of professional marketers who will use AI soon. But now, what about the more profound number for me? What we seek to do is make AI accessible to everyone, to the world, not just professional marketers. No, we seek to make AI accessible to the same billions of people who today use the internet and computerization, not limited to any particular field of endeavor. Today, only 7% of people in the United States use AI, and they use a little piece of this and a little piece of that, no one using the one stop shop as we describe. 100% are going to. The only question is, will you be a catalyst in causing that which is destined to occur a little more quickly? If so, the rewards are great. It says a 38% increase in sales productivity. That's because they've not learned how to leverage AI. That will have a 10x or a 100x when people really learn the power of what can be done. And this is not unusual, by the way. Think back to the earliest days of computers and the internet. Did they immediately cause a dramatic change in productivity? No. People had to learn how to use it. The computer is a tool, the internet is a tool, artificial intelligence is a tool. When one learns how to use it and when the learning process becomes so much simpler, then you can get a 10 or a 20x on that number. 80% of entrepreneurs currently using AI say that it gives them a competitive advantage. Well, that means they haven't learned how to use AI because it's not 80%, it's everybody. LEV AI, leveraging artificial intelligence, makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses. Why is my smile so wide? Because I have spent my life launching, marketing, and growing businesses, and I understand the magic of the simplicity here. No expensive CMO agency or complicated tech skills required. Once again, what is our message? Our message is that as everyone in the world currently uses computers and the internet, everyone is going to use artificial intelligence, and we bring a market basket to the world, not to some limited segment of the world. This is about everyone. This is about you, and it's about everyone that you know. A lot of problems out there that there are reasons that people are chatting about it, but not acting upon it in large measure. And it's because it's confusing and it's complicated, complex, costly, fragmented marketing tools. Tech intimidation and burnout's a natural response when you have to have one application for your CRM, you have to have another application for social media growth, another application for every part of the entire engagement process, for lead generation and customer retention, all kinds of issues that entrepreneurs face. And here we have a single solution for all of those problems. It is a unique entry about to be unleashed on the world called LEV AI, leveraging artificial intelligence. There are 388 million small businesses in the world, solopreneurs, home based business, small businesses, 388 million of them. They have some uniquenesses about them, but they have far more similarities. One similarity, they would all like to have more customers, clients, buyers of their product, users of their service, subscribers to their subscription. They would like to have larger tickets from those customers. They would like to have a longer duration of client business relationship, ultimately becoming permanent. The single greatest obstacle I'll face is to have a never ending flow of new candidates, new clients. This is completely remarkable how the LEV AI solution, bringing together all the various components of artificial intelligence, will make relatively simple a task that has been the single greatest obstacle between a budding entrepreneur and a successful one, trying to have a steady enough flow of new users of the product or service. Creates confidence about what to say to each candidate and prospect throughout the engagement process. You'll understand that in a moment. It removes the barriers that make you feel stuck. I want to comment on this for a second. Many years ago, I was fortunate to be taught by a extremely gifted entrepreneur. His name was Nathan Ricks, and rest in peace, Nathan. He's no longer living. Nathan taught me that in my particular field of endeavor, and I promise you this is true in your field of endeavor, but what he taught me is, Randy, there's no luck and there is no guesswork. There's a proved and predictable pattern of activities. If we do A, we'll get B, and if we do C, we'll get D, and if we don't, we won't. No luck and no guesswork. And in fact, he said, Randy, there are no new mistakes. There are new people making old mistakes and old people making old mistakes. Let's prevent that from occurring in our organization. Well, all of that made great sense to me. Then to my, and I got exactly in his path, exactly in his path. We live in the mountains of Utah, and it's not unusual in the wintertime to have 3 feet of snow out in the back. And periodically, we'll see one deer walking a trail with another following behind. Every once in a while, we're lucky and we get to see a string of elk. But you know what? Deer and elk, they seem to be a little bit more intuitive and maybe smarter than humans. Because if they're walking through 3 feet of snow, fresh snow, the second deer will follow exactly in the path of the first. He or she realizes that being 1 foot outside the path essentially eliminates the reality of the path. That's not the way humans are. Humans tend to wander all over the lot. This will create for you a proved and predictable pattern of activities and give you daily prompts multiple times through the day, AI generated prompts, which specifically reflect upon your onboarding process, your new member orientation, teaching you how to not waste time, effort, energy, and money, how to be profitable and efficient from the very start. It removes those barriers that make you feel stuck. And typically, what are those barriers? Lack of knowledge, lack of skill, have to gather new knowledge, develop new skills, and periodically we need to refine character attributes. Those are the things that keep us stuck. AI will guide you through a process of eliminating those barriers. And this will keep you in front of your customers to maximize results of your sales efforts. Remove the fear of failure. How do we propose to do that? How shall we remove the fear of failure? How about by helping people no longer fail? Because we've taken a process that was for so many people, budding entrepreneurs, trying to succeed is like trying to grab the morning mist and then the sun comes out and there's nothing in your hand. The way to remove the fear of failure is to engage people in a process that causes them to no longer fail. It's pretty simple. And that is exactly what we do at LEV AI. So there's a host of problems and a single solution, or perhaps I should say a group of solutions inside a single product called Leverage AI, LEV AI. The first challenge we addressed, as I was there in my lifetime, I was there when this first social media networks came to life, and I participated in some. But you know what I did not do again? I did not become a conduit to other people's participation. And what I didn't do was make a specific decision much earlier in my life to grow a huge social media presence. I've been somewhat prominent. I've been successful. There are people whose life's experiences are not a lot different than mine who have millions of social media contacts, and I have a handful. That was a mistake. In today's world, we can accurately predict one's future success by measuring one's influence, and we can measure influence by measuring one's social media presence. If, in fact, not if, but when, a large number of entrepreneurs around the world realize that their current CRM, customer relationship management software, is providing an inferior service. You see, by becoming a user of the Lev AI solution, in all likelihood, you will be able to jettison the use of your current customer relationship management software. If you're using a service like Go High Level or some other, you're probably paying 2 and 3 times as much just for CRM as you'll pay for our entire solution. And you're getting a far inferior service. With every single simple every screenshot import of a contact, immediately your AI solution will begin working to deliver to you more information than you can imagine was available about each contact. How? By scanning their social media presences and coming back and telling you what is the hot button, and then writing the script for you to provoke the conversation. All you have to do is push send. And by the way, what will write the script? Your individual, unique GPT. Not Chat GPT. 700 million people went to Chat GPT this week. And what did they get from the internet? They got the standard generic response. That's not the same response. I want my team member to receive the specific content that I was taught years ago and that I've taught to many people. My individual personalized Chat GPT and yours will not deliver the the vague content available on the internet, but the specific content about your product, your service, your comp plan, your leadership strategies. What a remarkable improvement at a dramatically lower cost. When I was being introduced for the first time to this service, I was completely fascinated with the idea when a developer said, Randy, do you want to build a website? Well, sure, I'd love to build a website. I don't know how to do that. I can just barely turn on a phone. And he said, no, Randy, not anymore. That was the old world. The new world is that with your personalized GPT and with your personalized assistant, which you'll meet in a moment, said, we can build this right now. And he simply turned the terminal around and he said, open this application. Click, 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 click. About 10 minutes later, I had a fully published website live on the World Wide Web. And it was not the simple replicated website, self-replicating sites that people get in direct selling companies. No, I'm talking about a unique site describing your vision, your message, your company. And you can literally create a website that might cost you a few $1,000s with every similar function and feature in 10 minutes with no added cost. I talk about the fact with fascination that I believe many people, maybe even most, will have a net negative cost to use the service. You say a net negative cost, Randy, what do you mean by that? I mean that you will save more money by discontinuing old expenses than it costs you to utilize the entire service. This next thought. Remember, Nathan taught me, Randy, there's no luck and there's no guesswork. He said there's a proved and predictable pattern of activities. Now, I consider my own experience. In my own experience in life, I have never yet met a person who has done all that is required to succeed, but done it poorly and therefore failed. Never, ever. And I say it again, I've never met a person who has done that which is required to succeed, but done it poorly and therefore failed. Sadly, I have met so many people who have simply not done what was required to succeed. Why? There are a variety of reasons, but I think this is the most common and consistent one hard to articulate by the one who's experiencing it themselves. When we become an entrepreneur, and most did not start that way. They started as an employee. And as an employee, they were given a group of parameters in which to operate. They were given borders, boundaries, and they reacted to that, being told when to work, where to work, what to do, what report to fill out, told when our vacations are. For some people, those are comfortable shoes. The world needs great employees. For other people, like me and perhaps like you, those are uncomfortable shoes. I want to work where I want, when I want, with whom I want, and if I want. I want to determine my worth. I need to be on the entrepreneur side. But you know what? When I go from a reactive environment, an employer telling me what to do, to a proactive environment, me doing what needs to be done as a result of my own volition, boy, that's different. That's a lot different. I think over the course of my career, how wonderful it would have been to have my own virtual assistant beside me saying, "Hey, Randy, do you remember yesterday you had your onboarding process and now you've got these assignments. You haven't done this one yet. Please complete it and then send it on over to your coach." Wow, that would have helped. See, prompting, prompting, prompting. I find that for so many on the balance beam, it takes only a tiny bit to tip the scale in the favor of success. Not a great big difference, a tiny bit. One more day of consistent behavior, following A and B and C and D, not skipping stairs and not skipping rungs on the ladder. Quite frequently, it is only a little bit of weight on the positive side that tilts the scales in the favor of success. These nudges will do that. And by the way, Lev AI will help you craft the messaging of your business, which will lead to more frequent opportunities for people to make the first step towards you. And by the way, that's what this next possibility does. I have stayed away from lead generation programs over my career simply because I've been hesitant to have people pay money for a lead and perhaps not get what they wanted. But what if the lead didn't have any added cost? It was simply part of the subscription for Lev AI. Then there would only be positive things that could result. Now imagine this. Here I've got my new fledgling budding entrepreneur who has been reactive all his or her career. Now they're trying to become proactive. It's challenging. And in the middle, what do we have? We have a lead. Somebody who said, "I want to know more. I have filled out a form that said, this is what I want. This is why I want it. This is what I need to do, how much money I need to make. Will you please help me do that?" Is it not obvious? It would be incredibly easier for my budding entrepreneur to respond to a request for help than it would be to say, "I've got a neat idea. Will you talk about it with me?" The answer is yes. The skill to do comes from the doing. This is what Cicero said. And so, as a result of having a candidate who has said, "I want to know more," now my person who may have been frozen behind the fear of transition from reactive to proactive, they get just a little bit of positive weight on the scale. A little bit easier is all it has to be. That little bit of weight can be the difference in success and lack thereof, or massive success and limited success. Everything we've talked about so far, I think, is compelling and is way more than enough to justify a decision to become a founding partner at the bottom left-hand corner of the graph at the genesis. I've described more than enough information for me to act on, and I hope for you. But there is more. Every plan includes your own AI twin, a virtual twin, a digital clone of you. And by the way, you'll not be able to discern the difference if you're looking at a video screen right now and here was you and here was your digital clone. You yourself would be unable to discern the difference until they started talking. And if you're talking in English and that's the only language you know, your twin speaking in English sounds just like you. And by the way, the mannerisms are the same. Even a nervous tick is the same. The digital cloning is a digital cloning, but it goes beyond, because here you are speaking English and suddenly your digital clone speaks in Chinese. That's the first time you know which is you and which is the digital version of you, which suddenly can speak fluently in 150 languages, and your own personalized GPT can create the script. What amazing thought. I am quite confident that when the final plans are rolled out on Monday or Tuesday this coming week, I believe there will be 3 packages, not 2. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe so. The packages will be remarkably affordable. I mean, like crazy affordable. 50, 100, and $150, or something very close thereabout, for what I will believe will be ultimately a decision to roll out 3 packages. And so there are some services and features that I won't describe right now because we see 2 packages. Your AI video twin, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in 150 plus languages. And you can even use your personalized GPT to create the script to provoke the conversation. A personalized AI writing assistant. This part of the process we engage in to grow your social media presence, creating intriguing and engaging posts that lead to the like, that lead to your digital twin, again, telling you what's the next step. Business profiles. What if you're a life insurance agent and you also, in addition to that, you coach Little League baseball teams, or you've got 2 very different messages to deliver? And a twin would not likely have the dialogue to interact in a baseball coach's environment if their other discussions are about life insurance sales. And so having multiple profiles to allow you to communicate in whatever are the important things in your life will be important. And that would lead most to something beyond the most basic pack. To get those services, one needs to go to the second or the third package. The CRM with screenshot import. I cannot wait. A simple screenshot import, and suddenly my digital twin is scanning all of the social media profiles and platforms and coming back and telling me who you should contact first and why. And here is the word that you need to say to cause that person to say, yes, of course, I want to know more. This will grow your social media presence, an instant web builder, enhanced CRM with professional lead funnels. People have asked me so many times in my life, Randy, will you teach me how, will you close my candidate for me? No. Why? Because I don't want to be closed, and neither do you. What I will do is help you engage effectively utilizing LEV AI in a proved and predictable pattern of activities, which will guide your candidate to making the decision that is most appropriate for him or her in the shortest possible period of time. That is what I can do and what we can do together with LEV AI. Enhance CRM with professional lead funnels to guide them from the very first dropping them into the top of the funnel to the logical conclusion, yes, this is for me. Or if periodically, no, it's not for me, for whatever reason, fine. I'm not trying to convince anyone to do anything. I'm trying to help each person arrive at their correct point of conclusion in the shortest possible period of time so that you can have time leverage on your side. And then, as we've described, searchable prospects, over 2 billion of them. And now, bang the gong and ring the bell. Take a moment and stop. I know I say a lot and I say it fast. Bang the gong and ring the bell. Shout it from the rooftops. Those who choose to become not just a participant, but a primary growth driver of our company, those who push themselves hard against the grinding wheel and find yourself at the top of the compensation plan, you will be the beneficiary. You will have an interactive digital you. I simply cannot wait. I cannot wait to upload 35 years of content, 35 years of life and business experience into my digital twin who can fluently speak 150 languages. I cannot wait to think of the conversations that are going on with my twin, with my 35 years of knowledge, then replaced by yours while I'm soundly sleeping because it's a different time of the day in Beijing than it is in Utah, where I live. The absolute best of you in 150 languages. I don't think that I can express with enough conviction without sounding hypey how important I think this is, what a catalyst moment this is. This can be a complete, total, absolute transformation in career trajectory, a complete, total, transformation in the ability to generate incomes greater than what society currently assigns your set of skills. Complete unmatched value. I believe that LevAI will replace at least 300, I think maybe more than $800 in disconnected, hard to use subscriptions as we bring everything in-house in under one roof. And remember, making artificial intelligence accessible to the masses. Not talking about the limited few who are professional marketers. We're not talking about any limited few. No, we're talking about the same percentage of society who uses a computer, the same percentage of society who uses the internet. That is our market opportunity. That is our market opportunity. It is the $556 billion gig economy that exists today, growing rapidly. 70 million plus freelancers in the United States alone, 30 million plus non-employer businesses. I can say with great confidence that there has never been a market opportunity so profound for you. You say, wait a minute, Randy, how do you know? You don't know me. Well, this is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we have done in the past. What was the next thing? More profound than the Industrial Revolution, and 10 times faster. None of us have had this opportunity before. Not me, not you, none of us. We all now have a choice. Will we simply use the technology? The answer to that is yes, because it will be thrust upon us as computerization was, as the internet was. So we're going to use the product. The question is simply this: are we going to be a conduit to other people's use of the product? If so, then you can be rewarded financially in incredible ways. When you are the guide, when you are the conduit to someone else's use, you'll get paid. They acquire a subscription, they buy the product, and you'll get paid. You'll get paid 50% of what their acquisition price was. Important for those of you who may have been around the home business world to note that there is no artificial dilution of the dollar in almost all home-based businesses. If a dollar comes into the company, some percentage of that dollar goes into the compensation plan, usually around 70%. It's called CV, SV, PV. It's basically a trick to artificially pay people less. We don't do that. It's a cash-based compensation plan. A dollar comes into the company, that dollar goes into the compensation plan. We understand that there are different types of people who will participate, different types. I have a friend, she used to be, watched our children when they were many years ago. She went on to win Dancing with the Stars. She's an influencer now. Millions and millions of people follow her. She shows up on magazine covers. She doesn't want to build teams. What she wants to do is get paid again for her notoriety. Anyone who acquires our product through her introduction, just like you, she'll earn 20%, and that'll go on and on and on and on for as long as they use. And my belief is that once one starts to use, they're not going to start using or stop using. Do you believe that you're ever going to stop using a computer? I don't. Do you think one day you're just going to turn off the internet? That's it for me. No. Therefore, the company's task is to always remain the best at what we do. Now, there are those who will want to build teams in depth as opposed to the pure influencer level. No problem. We can get paid 8 generations of debt for those of us who want to build teams as opposed to simply creating a customer bases on the front line. Either is great, whichever you prefer, or both. For me, it is both. 20% on that first generation for all, and then an 8 level unilevel, 7 more generations at 4%. Remember, that is 4% of cash, not 4% of some artificial figure, SV, CV, and so on. I'd like to talk about the infinity bonus before I talk about the leverage matching bonus. We'll change the order of the slides. For me, this is a very, very important concept. When an idea is right, the market tells you it's right, and they tell you quickly. 13 days ago, we had our very first introductory conversation like this one about LEV AI. 12 people heard the story you're now hearing. Before tonight is over, there will be 7,000 members of this organization. There are 6,700 and something right now. That's happened in the last 12 days. Why? Because this is a message that people want to hear. What that means is an absolute flood of people into an environment means that there will be lots and lots and lots of people who are brand new. There must be something in the compensation plan that incents a real leader with knowledge and experience and some background to be able to guide all of those people, even if it's fallen well outside of that 8 generation block of payout. That's what the infinity bonus does. It assures that a true leader will be incented to continue working indefinitely in depth until he or she recreates themselves. That's what ensures that the leg, as it's called, will stay viable and will not compress like a yo-yo coming back up. Unique to my experience, the matching bonus is a leveraged matching bonus, meaning that it pays through 4 generations. And this matching bonus is predicated on all parts of the compensation plan. That's not typical. What I've seen before is the matching bonus generally being reflective only of team commissions, that part of the comp plan. Here, if someone in your first 4 generations of enrollment tree earns a acquisition bonus, you get a matching bonus. If a person earns a team commission, you get a matching bonus. If a person earns an infinity payout, you get a matching bonus. Absolutely magic. The question that I pose to me and let you listen is, are you, Randy, ready to lead the AI future with LEV AI? And each of yourself ask yourselves that same question. Are you going to make the mistake the third time? You made the mistake with a computer. You used it, but you did not become a catalyst to cause that which was destined to occur more quickly. And so your changed outcome was modest. Didn't learn your lesson. The internet came along, you used it and had a modest increase in productivity. But I did not become a catalyst to that which was destined to occur to other people's use. I've learned my lesson. I hope that you recognize that this is a moment that may not be equaled in your life. This is the third time in my life. It might be the first time in yours, might be the second or third, but a chance for an entire transformation, not a subtle shift, but that demands that we take action. And what is the action? Contact the person who invited you here. Tell them you'd like to receive the online enrollment. You get a free look. There is no cost. This company will go live sometime in the first handful of days in September. And at that point, having had a look at the operating technology, you will be able to make your decision about where you want to go in the future with it. I so hope that you will take that step. Ask the person who invited you here to send you that link and fill it out tonight. And a free look at what I think might be the most important change in the way that people live, learn, and earn. Maybe the most important change in the way people live, learn, and earn that you'll ever experience in your life. And also, because I want you to be completely aware of all that is going on, ask that same person who invited you here if they would please send you a link so that you can begin participating in our chats, just so you know when the business presentations are and so on. I've invited my friend, my counterpart, my peer, Larry Lane, to hop on. Larry's a great guy, but beyond that, he's a gifted and skilled entrepreneur and has just done a lot of wonderful things in his life. And Larry has accomplished in the last 13 days what I think maybe no one's ever accomplished in network marketing. Larry, tell folks what's going on.
Hey, Randy, absolutely. Honored to be here. Another great presentation. That's the great thing. Randy does this 2 times a day, every day, just to invite people to. But like Randy said, 13 days ago, I heard about this. I jumped on a Zoom with about 30 people. I learned about LEV AI. I saw the technology. I know that I can use it in my business, but I really started reaching out to people. I started reaching out to people that I haven't worked with in a couple of years. I always ask them what they're up to. I want to know how they're doing. You really want to open a conversation. Let them share with you what they're doing. And now, with LEV AI, you've got something. I don't care if they've got a product business, if it's a travel business, if it's a crypto business, you've now got something that can enhance their sales. You've got something that can help them grow their business. So I shared it with a couple of leaders. They started building, like Randy said, we got about 4,500 people in the team. And just yesterday, maybe the day before yesterday, a gentleman, he's not even been in a day and a half, he's already got 136 people on his team. You never know who's looking. I will tell you that when you get a build like this, it's something, AI is fresh. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people want to learn about it. A lot of people would love to use it, but they don't know how. That is what Leverage AI is. So for somebody to be able to take a free look right now, Randy just said we're going to be launching the first of September, right around the first week of September. This is the perfect chance for you to be reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in a while. Get them to take a free look. Like Randy said, nobody has to pay a penny. We're going to be seeing the technology very soon. We appreciate everybody being patient. One thing I know about Terry LaCour, he is a go-getter. He is a very successful businessman. And for Terry to put his hat in the ring, he knows how big this is going to be. So we are in the right place at the right time. You got to take action. You got to start sharing it with people. I'm very quick at getting to people, but there are a lot of people that I can't get to quick enough. They've already heard about LEV AI. They're already in another team. It's happening to me. It's happening to you, but you really need to take advantage of this. It comes along maybe once in a lifetime. We all know how big AI is going to be. It's just a matter of getting yourself in front of that to take advantage of it and actually profit from it. And that's what we've got here. So Randy, Blake, I'm just so excited to be here with all of y'all. I think we've got some of the most incredible people. When I look at these webinars and just see the caliber of the leadership that we've got in this company already, you better believe that there are going to be millions of people in this company. You're probably one of the first couple of thousand people that know about it. What you do with that is absolutely up to you. But literally reach out, say, look, take a free look. I'm very excited about this. I want you to take a free look, get your spot. And that's all you got to do. Because I'm telling you, then you start looking through. I had another lady. I bet you she's always struggled. I've always helped her with three-way calls. She's already got 87 people in her team, and she has just lost her mind because she knows that this is her chance to finally have that big success. So Randy, I will turn it back over to you, my friend.
Larry, you are the bomb. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Folks, this is your moment. Over the course of my entire career, I've said something that now I'm going to amend. I have said I don't believe in once in a lifetime opportunities. Why? Because I've had 3 or 4 tremendous opportunities in my life that resulted in a major breakthrough. But none of those breakthroughs were similar to what will happen when the same number of people who use computers use AI. This is not the same. And so I will say that for me, 67 years in, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And that leads me to believe that it can be for many, many, many of you. The future is bright, and so is the present for those who make it so. Larry, thank you so much, and we'll see you along the
Thank
way.
you, Randy.
Bye bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.